Okay.
But I'm the director of the Center for Earth
Oh,
Jurisprudence,
oh,
and we're really big on expanding the legal protection of
right.
nature.
Oh, great, great.
And I'm particularly interested, we've been following the Kivalina case.
Right, okay.
And we've had Colleen Swan at our school and
Okay,
talking with her and stuff.
okay,
So I just want to say thank you for doing this.
okay.
I plan to follow up more on your website
Oh, great, okay, great,
and
sure.
some of your work.
Great, great. And where are you located?
In Orlando, Florida.
Okay. Oh, great, great.
So highly unlikely place.
Right.
So fantasy world. But also disinformation there. So you've been doing this. So you're at Penn State? In what area?
So,
Can you tell me your full name?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so happy that everybody's here. And I'm also very happy, especially, that there are still people who really care about the indigenous people and also how the climate change affects them. I would like to introduce you today to a very special man who we actually rarely see in public, and especially at the COP, at conferences like the COP17. But for him, at this moment, the problem is so ridiculous that he took the time and the effort to come here among us and to come at this conference to talk about the problems of the indigenous people and how it affects their lives. And of course, also their children, their loved ones, how it affects all of them around them. And the person who will come here is His Holiness Sri Sri 1008 Soham Baba, who usually lives in the Himalayas. These days he is here with us at the conference, and he will tell you more about the effects of the climate change on the indigenous people. Please welcome all of us, His Holiness Sri Sri 1008 Soham Baba.
Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you that, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you that we are here again. As I have told you last time, that I'll be meeting several times with you because I have different opinions and different messages to convey to the world leaders, to the youth of the world, and to all of you. Our topic today, the climate change issues and the indigenous people. Very funny to say that you see me as a very modern clothes man, but basically I live in the Himalayas, in the higher altitude, in the caves, with the indigenous people. Even we live much more higher altitude than they live. In the Himalayas, you know from the movie, from the books, from the news, that there are many saints and sadhus living in the higher altitude in the caves. Hundreds of years, their age. And many of you has a question that it is true or not. Sometimes you have heard about the Yeti, the word Yeti, the Iceman, the snowman. Now here I am, one of them, the ascetics, the mystics, living in the higher altitude in the Himalayas. We live in the caves. I have 7 caves. Among 7 caves, I have 2 glacier cave, the ice cave, and the 5, the stone caves. Why I am here today with you? To share my experiences, what I have witnessed last 22 years living in the caves in the Himalayas. It is true, in the Himalayas, there are a group of ascetics, mystics, they are living in the nature, with very less clothes, with very less food and drinks. If I share with you my life, you'll be surprised. We almost don't need any food whole day to live in the caves. Because we perform lots of secret kriyas, the yogic kriyas. We drink the herbal water. The snow melts. It comes kilometers and kilometers along the small springs. And while coming kilometers and kilometers, it takes lots of Himalayan herbs, leaves, roots, and it ferments. It has a chemical reaction with all different healing roots, leaves, barks, with the water, H2O. And that water, when we get and we drink, we do not require any other food to eat. We have a very special oxygen, pure oxygen, to breathe. And we have our own secret performance, the yoga. Now, what is the problem? Now, due to this climate change, our glaciers are melting. So, the ice which was frozen for 200, 300 years, they are melting and the layer is getting thinner. Can I have the book, please? If it goes on like that, then we the ascetics, where we'll go to live in the Himalayas? We'll lose our caves. There are lots of mistakes. We perform our Kumbhak, Tratak, Rechak, Purak, different pranayams, the systems, by which we can rejuvenate our body, mind and soul. All the spring waters are drying. How can we perform our yogic kriyas? Because that is our place to recharge ourselves. We gather lots of energy, the healing energy, the ancient healing energy, and we travel to the world to share with the humanity, to serve the humanity. So all these ascetics and mystics, our life is in danger. Other people, the other indigenous people in the Himalayas, these people, besides us, the mystics, ascetics, they live in the nature with their families together. They are completely involved in the nature. You believe me or not, I can tell you, many indigenous people, they speak to the trees, they hug the trees. They don't have watch. By looking the sun, they can tell what is the time. The indigenous people, when they come sometimes to our caves, they know which glacier is in trouble, which glacier not. So what they do, they take a stick, a bamboo stick, they put the cotton clothes and they put it somewhere and they make a mark. You always know the glacier always moves. The snow glaciers, those who are deposited for 200, 300 years, they move slowly. So those indigenous people, they have a special kind of communication with the nature. So when they come to visit the masters in the Himalayas, they make their own route. So they put the flag and they make a mark. And after 1 week or 2 weeks, when they come to visit us, they know that this glacier moved very fast, so they don't take that route. Those indigenous people, they have special herbs to heal their physical ailments. They have special spices, the spices that grows in the Himalayan region. But the problem is, today, their livelihood is in danger because the whole thing is making totally upside down. Those herbs are not growing enough. The flowers are getting extinct. The birds are no more there. Kilometers and kilometers in the Himalayas, you can see the rhododendron trees are growing no more. The beautiful flower does not come. is just looking like Ladakh, like Leh, mountain desert. The Himalaya has three parts: lower Himalayas, middle Himalayas, and the upper Himalayas. The middle Himalayas much more greener. The indigenous people, they live very beautiful life there. But today, their social life is very much in trouble. For instance, there grows a tree, and in the month of March, April, just end of March, beginning of April, the beautiful flower and the fruit comes. It's called carful. And when that flower and the fruit comes, those indigenous people in the Himalayan region, they start to get in mood to celebrate their life. It's a time of kind of harvesting the crops and the vegetables and the grains. But due to the climate change, sometimes the tree blossoming later, much more later, exact time when they are very much engaged in their daily life, so they cannot celebrate anymore. The beautiful free time they could engage in celebration, all people together, beautifully. You could see that all the women, they dressed beautifully with the natural stuff, with the flowers, with the barks. They could make their hair very beautiful. The children, they could dance, they could sing. All the men, they could engage themselves to feed. The whole village come together to feed. It's a big party. And they're all getting disturbed. For me, of course, when I travel to the world, I come from the Himalayas, I come to Delhi. From Delhi, I start to make a route to travel, because the Soham Baba Mission has 128 countries, our base. Our headquarters, the Netherlands, Miami, Kawasaki Ken in Japan, and in India, Haridwar. So many times I have to travel. So when I travel, on my way, like this conference, I share, I convey the true scenario, the real scenario, what is going on in the other part of the world. Many, many people, they get unclear picture. It is very true. The issues of climate change, the global warming, has changed enormously the ecosystem in the Himalayas, the livelihoods of the indigenous people, and especially we, the ascetics, the sadhus, the mystics, live in the caves in the higher altitude in the Himalayas. I can share a little bit more. I travel all over the world, as I told you. Talk about the Chiapas jungle in Mexico. I was with the indigenous people there because I'm a healer. So I have very much my dedication, my devotion to work for the indigenous people. So you can see, for instance, this is called kamandolu. This kamandolu is made out of the coconut shell and this silver, you can see. We make a water with the 5 grasses, 5 Himalayan grasses called panchatrina. We put the day, the full moon, and the full moon night, we chant the mantras, we perform the rituals with the fire, we energize, and we carry to the different places for the indigenous people for their healing work. So while Chiapas jungle, I noticed that those indigenous people in Mexico, they are very much in trouble. Why? Because their livelihoods is based upon the pottery, the clay pottery. They cut the trees, they bake the clay pots, they sell it, and they live from that. But the Mexican government, they introduced lots of projects there. Those who are involved with the Red Plus. So they had given them new oven, furnace, so they can stop cutting the trees, and they can make all the potteries. Some of them they are using, most of them not. Because they feel that we, the modern people, entering their society as the intruder. Because indigenous people, my experience with them, they live very much with the nature and in the nature. Now, we talk for the nature, to protect the nature, and They live in the nature. That means they are the nature. And that is the big problematic issues here. We can say from different angles, different experiences, wisdom, that you better do this, better do that, better we make this project. But sometimes it is very difficult for them to accept that because they feel that you are stopping their rights. So beautiful mechanism, the UN, the world leaders, the thinkers introduced the MRV policies, the strategies, very beautifully, in fact, to protect the nature. But for those indigenous people, the MRV is very difficult to accept, to understand. India showed the world thousand and thousand years how to live with the nature. I quote one saying, very beautifully, you like it. It is the saying of the ascetics. One tree you cut, you take a star away from the sky. One tree you cut, you take a star away from the sky. Centuries and centuries, we thought the forest is the revenue of the nation. But that paradigm has been changed. And now we are thinking how to stop this cutting the forest, how we can save the forest. And we're introducing lots of projects. And we are entering into the big discussion of the rights of the indigenous people. But my time is very short here. There is so many things to discuss with you. I have lots of experiences with the indigenous people because I live with them. The issue is this. It is very true that the indigenous livelihood is in threat. I am one of the big example in front of you, even though you see me as with modern clothes, but I live in the higher altitude with the indigenous people. We experience enormous problems. Those Himalayas 22 years ago I have seen is no more. I have the evidences here. Just before I end my discussion, I can show you. Look, my cave. This is one of my cave. This me. This is another my cave. See, I'm planting the seeds in the Himalayas. It's all upper Himalayas. This is one of my glacier cave. Look, here I am. This glacier cave, I'm talking many glacier caves like that are melting. So this is my cave, my place to stay in the upper Himalayas. So I, just like the indigenous people, where shall I go if it melts? Where shall I perform all my rites and all my prayers to heal the world? And we work hard. So it is my request to the world leaders, thinkers, policymakers, and the youth of the world. So no more wasting the time. Come forward. Not only negotiation, but sharing more. The climate change issues is not the issues of one country, one nation. It is the issue of collective responsibility. No more blaming each other. If the working climate, working environment is not correct, what can you do about the climate change? The first we have to do something about the climate to work together positively, the environment to work together positively. So I hope the Durban conference will correct, will heal the wounds, will stage the heart, not only the mind. What we could not do in Cancun, we can do here in Durban. And I'm very hopeful about it. Thank you so much. I have so many things to say. I'll see you the next meeting again. I have so many topics to share with you, the whole world. If you have any question, you may ask. Yes?
Hi. Just wanted to know if you stay in the Himalayan caves, which one? Hello, my name is Tapu from SABC News Online.
Nice.
I just wanted to know if you're staying in the Himalayas caves, who's funding all your travels, and how is so much information readily available to you?
Because for me, I am one of the big witness to see what is happening because I live there. I don't see any movie, I don't, not from the books, but my life is there. I'm living there in the caves, in the Himalayas. When I'm returning back to India, I go to my caves. I'll continue, of course I'll continue. I'll always continue, till my last moment. No, we have a big mission, Soham Baba Mission, United Green Care. We have 128 countries, our mission. Huge mission, is a big mission. I told you we have many, many headquarters. Netherlands, Miami, Japan, and India. Okay, thank you. We'll meet each other again with the next meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you.